You want to see Jesus?
Yes, sir.
You want to have a vision?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Can you handle it? Now?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir. Perfect afternoon, sons of God. My name is Blessing Olisi. I'm a son of the house. Yeah, so when Papa was anointing I had a prayer request of my spiritual eyes being opened to see the invisible and to see Jesus. So when Papa started praying for me, when I looked into his eyes, I saw fire coming straight into my eyes, and then all of a sudden he lifted his hands. By the time he lifted his hands, there was like a beam of light that came onto my eyes. I couldn't open my eyes to see. But now what happened when I tried to look aside, there was like a force. There was like a force that, like an opening of like a wild wind. You see that kind of a wild wind? So there was an opening like that, and then there was a force pulling me up. And then when I tried to look on the side, there was something that was pulling me back like this to look up. And then when I was going up like this. When I was ascending like that, the first thing I saw, there was like a counterpart of this earth. The first when I was like going up, and then when I was like trying not to look up into that a beam of light that was going up. When I tried to look on the side, I got pulled up like this, and then I faced up like this. When I was looking up, I could see like there was a first layer, there was a second layer. So the first layer was like normally like this world, but it wasn't this world. And then when I kept on going up, the second layer I saw, I tried to look, there was some funny, there was like fierce looking creatures, like you see that kind of dragon things and all that stuff. So when I tried to close my eyes kept on opening, and there was like, the light was like, now, the light first I couldn't see, I couldn't like behold the light, and then at some point my eyes got open now to see. Then I was now, my eyes were like open now, fully open. And then when I was looking, I could see this like another dimension of different creatures, man, like creatures like flying and stuff like that. But I kept on going, and then I passed that layer, and then I kept on going up. Then I got to a point where there was like intense light. The light was intense, man, like I couldn't like, but now my eyes were like now fully open. Now I could see, but my eyes were like turned into light. And then that layer was like the third layer that turned into the whole place was like intense light. And then all of a sudden, when I stayed there, that whole place, it was like changed. It was now changing into fire. You could see like charcoals of fire in that place there. Then I stayed there. I started now feeling the heat. The heat was too much on myself. And then I stayed there. And when I continued staying there, I could see myself now changing into fire. It was like the fire. My body now started to be fire, and then that whole place was like fire. Then I stayed there for some time, burning, and then I could feel like now I can no longer feel the heat. It was like my body was like now turned into fire, and then I stayed there for some time. But on the other side, when you look on the top side, I could see Jesus there on the other side, just staring at me like this. staring at me like this. Then I stayed there for some time. And then my body was like burning. But now when I looked it down, now my eyes were open. Now I could see those. I was not afraid to look on that other creatures. I could now, from that dimension, I could look down and see all the creatures, like fierce creatures, like you could see that like another world. And then I could see when my boat was like on fire, then I started now coming down. But now my boat was like fire, was like burning, and then I started coming down into that opening. It was like a portal that opened there. Then I started coming down. Then I came down, and when I could behold all those creatures, just moving around like that. But now I was not afraid anymore. And then all of a sudden, I came into my body like, then I went into my body, and then now I was like, what happened now? Then I got back from there. Then when I was coming out from there, I could feel like my body, even my fingers here, my fingertips here, they were like hot. Everything, even my knees to stand, everything, even near my toes were like hot. Then yeah, that's what happened, man. I still have that vision now. I'm still trying to emphasize like what happened there, but it's like it's too much for me, man. I'm trying to digest. So yeah, that was too much, man. What I can say is Papa is coming from another dimension, because by the time he did like this, his hand on my face, there was like boom, there was like a beam of light that came onto my face, and then from there was a portal that opened. Then I was like going up, and then so what I would like to say to people about Papa is, you see, Papa, they mustn't take Papa for granted, man. Papa comes from another realm. The realms that he operates, they're like not from this world. So every time their perception when it comes to Papa, you see, what I can say when I'm looking at Papa is like I'm looking at Jesus. That's what I can say, because what happens is not a human being. It's not a normal human being. Whatever he carries, people must, when they're looking at him, they mustn't take him as a mere man. He's not a man. He's coming from another dimension. And when you see his spiritual side, you actually see Jesus himself. That's all I can say, man. Because people must have, they must, whatever he says, whatever he teaches, they mustn't take him as if he's teaching it from like a natural dimension. Whatever he teaches is coming from another source that is out of this world. It's too much, whatever he's teaching, man. Because when you can only understand when a certain realm opens to you, you can't understand, or when your natural thinking or your intellectual thinking, you can't understand. But when he opens another side that you can actually see what he is, then people will start being serious and taking they will not take him for granted, man. That's all I can say about Papa. That's the only thing I can tell them. They mustn't look at him as a man. They must look at him as, I can say they must look at him as another Jesus walking on earth. Yeah, that's all I can say, man.
Seko paradia, levrihila, Seko parada. The glory of the Lord is coming upon this earth, whether you like it or not. For we have entered the era of His glory.